It was your average, head-pounding, monotonous school day. My friend and I were sitting together, completing various assignments. Just about 5 minutes ago, he had handed me a small square of paper with what appeared to be Bird Person from Rick and Morty. I was excited, though slightly nervous. This would be my first time trying LSD, and, being an impulsive student and soon-to-be psychonaut, I proceeded to walk downstairs to the water fountain and washed the tiny paper square down with some mediocre grade school fountain water. Afterwards, I returned to my place upstairs, resuming the assignment, which was a physics lesson on YouTube. Some time passed, and I voiced my slight concern to my friend, worrying that I would feel no effects. "You definitely will," was something close to his response, and with a chuckle, he returned to working on his laptop. What happens next is almost completely unexpected. The room lights up, and begins to buzz or vibrate to some degree. At this point I realize I'm on a mental roller coaster, and I simply will not be able to get off. I stand up, suddenly feeling stranger still, and, in an effort to steer the effects in a comedic direction, grab onto my friend's sleeves and mumble something about grounding myself and thank God, it's a solid body, obviously with the use of what I perceived as humorous exaggeration. He finds this funny, or at least this is my perception, and continues to work on his assignments. After struggling through one single YouTube video, completely distracted by my altered perception, my friend and I walk outside of the school to say goodbye to some friends that are just about to leave. He mumbles something to the other friends, but I do not understand what he is saying. At this point, the three of them stare deep into my eyes, which only exacerbates my slight paranoia at this point. I realize now the severity of my condition, while they laugh and point at my head, which appears to be growing, distorting, and moving. One of them stares at me for what feels like 5 seconds, before remarking, "Oh shit, he's gone, damn, you fucked him up." This adds to my unrest, although I do not feel out of control per se, only slightly overwhelmed at the time. It was at this point that I knew I had to go to the bathroom inside the school, and take a good long look at myself in the mirror. My pupils are enormous, and I am starting to see slight patterns on my face, complemented by the rapidly growing feeling of exuberance, joy, connection, and intriguing thoughts, all of which I can only equate to the major alterations occurring in my default mode network. After perusing through Snapchat and my phone, I began to notice the Waze app. The icon consists of a friendly-looking ghost with a smile. As I stare intently at the Waze app, I watch as the eyes of the icon move back and forth, as well as the other apps on my phone, which appear to be melting or underwater. A liquid/droplet effect is occurring in my field of vision. It feels as though I am looking through some kind of lens. For some reason I am convinced that these lenses are akin to glass bottles or windows. After what feels like 10 to 15 minutes of intently exploring my phone, I make my way out to the hall, where my science teacher sees me and informs me that a study hall is occurring in the computer lab. Without questioning or reason I begin my robot-like walking downstairs and into the computer lab. There, I spotted my friend sitting at the far end of the room. I walked over to him, which for some reason takes quite a bit of effort, and sat down at the computer adjacent to him. What feels like an hour passes by. My friend remarks that I should move my leg inside of the desk. I looked down and noticed that my leg is sticking out at an awkward angle, splayed across the room, and I didn't even notice. After moving my leg, I log into my school account and attempt to finish the YouTube video assignment. Unfortunately, I find it nearly impossible to concentrate, seeing as the woman in the video is shrinking and growing simultaneously. Her nose appears to be growing a bulbous shape, while her eyes become alien and distorted. After managing to sit through the study hall for quite some time, I got a ride home. I get in the car and stare out the window. The sky is painted blue so vividly that I am almost sure that it is cut out of a magazine. Everything feels so wonderfully overwhelming that I either can't find the right words to speak, or the motivation to speak, as I feel in awe of the world. I glanced down at the palm of my hand, noticing almost immediately that a large distorted bump is growing in the middle. I blink but it is still there. Somehow, I'll make it home without substantial small talk with my parent, which would evidently create an issue with my current state of consciousness. When I arrive home, my mother announces that dinner is on the stove and she is heading to work. I plug in my headphones and begin listening to music. This is when my entire life changes for the better. The guitar solo in Pink Floyd Comfortably Numb soars above my head and into my ears majestically. At this point, I feel as though I am on board a cosmic spaceship, with the band, presumably Pink Floyd, playing their hearts out while I listen intently. There is no proper way to properly describe the sheer beauty I felt and heard, and I feel as though I have lived through 100 lifetimes, although it has been probably close to an hour at this point. Time now feels slower than I could have possibly ever imagined. I decide to make my way downstairs and check out my dinner options, only to find that I do not feel the need to eat. In addition, when I attempt to chew, I find it difficult to do so. At this point I head back upstairs, beginning my interstellar musical journey once more. I watch as the apps on my phone wiggle and melt. My time perception is thrown off significantly, to the point that I wonder when I will be finished with this experience. After a few more hours of feeling connected to the earth, at peace with myself and my fellow humans, and at one with nature significantly, I watch YouTube until about 2:30 in the morning, when I am finally able to fall asleep. The next day and for a few weeks after, I experience an afterglow that ultimately leads to ego dissolution. Immediately I wish to tell all my friends what an amazing experience I had.